Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Year's resolutions. Today is January 11th, and the resolution today is sleep enough. How much sleep did you get at night? And what can you possibly do to improve your sleeping rest, your hours? I'm not going to tell you studies, how long studies say you are supposed to sleep. The way I want to talk to you about is how are you feeling? Many times when we don't get enough sleep, we start seeing the bags down here in our eyes. They start getting, the gaps are deeper and darker. And that also happens with age. But how are you feeling? There is a part on our brain, on my brain, my head. It's the left side on the back of my head that hurts when I don't get enough sleep or if I'm working graveyard, which happens sometimes. So, what are the symptoms that you are experiencing, and what is important that we sleep at night? What happens when you don't sleep at night is that your body functions change and get altered. So, our body is used to process our foods at night because there is no activity and we're typically resting. So, the space where you are and the place where you are is typically in peace unless something is happening. So there is no loud sounds because people is resting unless there is a party. Of course, there are those days that you're gonna have people bothering you. And what can you possibly do to avoid sounds? There are many accessories that you can buy, and it can be something to put on your ears, or maybe like in the cold season right now, I have this hat. So if I put this one on, it's gonna help the cold weather, but also covers my ears, right? So I could probably do that just to be comfortable and feel a little warmth. And so I love hearts. You can see hearts is my team, so this one has hearts on. And I also bought this other one that you can put on your eyes while you're sleeping, especially during the day when there is already sun out there and you want to take some rest. This one is not tight or anything. You can wear something like this. And um, offline, definitely getting offline. How long are you spending on the computer? And the amount of time you are spending on your devices is the amount of time that is taken out of your possible hours of sleeping. So getting enough line is actually helpful. And what if you have a significant one or a partner that snores? Probably consider sleeping in another bedroom. If you go and sleep at the sofa, it might not be the same quality of sleep than sleeping on a mattress or on a bed that is comfortable or that the room has the appropriate temperature. So sometimes according to what our body type is and how we feel about temperature, about heater, or how many blankets do you want to put on yourself, depends on your body temperature. I seen that is kind of common that males have a higher temperature. I have seen it with my kids and or partners that I had that I'm usually cold and they're usually hot. So what does that depend on? I'm not sure what it is. I'm not gonna get into that type of study. My point is, if your body temperature is different, like you can see a lady sleeping back there in my background, right? So she's sleeping. So what can possibly be disturbing your sleep? And it could possibly be a snoring partner. So consider sleeping in another bedroom. And what is the lighting? Like you can see on top of the ceiling up here, how is light? It's the apartment is not the apartment or the room. I guess is lit. So how much light is it in the room? That's what makes it difficult for us to go sleep during the day because the sun is out, unless you have curtains that cover the light. But also the noise, what people is doing, what your kids are doing, or the neighbors, or the hours when people is working and the trash is being picked up, or you have these delivery trucks or delivery services that are very loud. You just keep on hearing these sounds. And also, if you have camera surveillance, they start making noises. Soon as movement is detected by the camera, so they're gonna start beeping. And if someone is cooking, then you're gonna see the smoke alarm. going on, right? So potentially a lot of more sounds during the day. Definitely our digestive system gets affected by us being up at night. And what happens when we go sleeping at night is that we're used to that kind of schedule. And I know some people work two jobs and they don't sleep enough and they are used to it and they think it's fine. So, how can you measure if you are sleeping enough hours? Well, how are you feeling? And also, how much coffee are you drinking? Or what kind of drinks that have caffeine are you interested in that are keeping you awake? Possibly soda or teas that have caffeine and or sugar drinks that are helping you, or you probably overeating just to keep yourself awake or busy, or maybe you have to work or just force yourself to be awake. So what happens in the hours in between 2 and 4 in the morning is when your body is most relaxed. So those are the hours that are harder to stay awake, because sometimes you're gonna feel like you're gonna pass out, or if you don't sit down, you're gonna fall. You're just gonna pass out. And what is the importance of sleeping enough hours, especially if you drive? That you need to be concentrated. You need to be paying attention on the road. Something that I do if I'm gonna drive is I try to pick up a snack or eat something. I don't like to drive on an empty stomach because I'm not aware. I'm not focused. I'm not. Um, Clever. I don't, make quick decisions. So, and that also happens when you're sleepy. You're acting, moving slower, thinking slower, reacting slower, and we tend to be distracted. Sometimes you'll be watching at an accident and you get yourself into an accident, or especially when there are the hours where people is going to work or coming back from work, that everyone is in a hurry, they're rushing. So they're, everyone wants to go first. So how do you decide where to go? And when you start hearing horns, like just alerting you, you didn't do anything right, or you made a mistake, or you're not paying attention, or the light changed, and you're not moving. So horns beeping and just making you aware you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. It's stressful. Being out there in the road is stressful. So, and what is happening in your life lately? Many times when there are situations where we need to cry, there are times when we cry all night. And when you're crying, you're not sleeping. Yes, you are letting the emotions out, and it's helpful for you. I do recommend that people cry a lot. And but also, if you're up, you're not getting enough sleep. So what happens when we get a diagnosis, that might be one of the recommendations by your doctor, to take naps during the day. And I've seen videos where there is a millionaire recommendations of people who are successful, and they say that they do take naps during the day. So what time do you take a nap, and how are your habits? Do you allow yourself to take a nap during the day, and how many naps? And who do you live with? If you live alone, no one is going to bother you or maybe tell you you're sleeping too much. I know right now, the current situation, we're not so busy. We don't have a lot of work unless you're doing something that requires you to be on the internet and working on artificial intelligence, that is doing a lot for us right now. So, what are you doing that is taking your time off of sleeping? And what are the responsibilities that could possibly be taking sleep out of your life? And it can be taking care of someone who is ill, or someone that you care for, someone that is in the hospital or recovering from an illness. And you might be the one who is taking care of that person, but who is taking care of you? Caregivers also need to be taken care of. So if you are a caregiver for someone, you need someone to take care of you. You need someone to call you. You need someone to check on you. You need someone to make sure that you're eating, and that what you're eating is helpful, and it's gonna add nutrition to your body, because otherwise you're gonna get sick. And caregivers sometimes die before the person who they're taking care of, because they don't take care of themselves. And it takes a lot to take care of someone, especially if their body is ill or if their emotions are ill. or if there is an issue where they're unable to forgive a person or a situation. So what happens when you're lacking sleep is that you tend to be moody. I remember when I used to work graveyard at a restaurant, I used to not have patience with my little one. And I used to yell a lot to him, and I just had a short temper. I couldn't stand, much of anything he was doing. So I realized that wasn't healthy for me or him. So I quit the job. So what do you need to quit a job? Well, I don't know what is gonna happen to you. I had a car accident due to being sleeping constantly. So I will be driving and I will be changing line without noticing. Can you imagine how dangerous that is? Thank God I was driving home like 6 in the morning, and sometimes the streets were not and busy. There wasn't a lot of traffic, but eventually I had a car accident and my back got injured and it still hurts. I have chronic pain. Sometimes it's still hard to get up of bed and doing anything. I can have a lot of dirty dishes in the kitchen and maybe my kids are not going to touch them. But if I'm in pain, I'm laying down, I'm taking a nap, I'm taking rest. And that also comes with aging, or what kind of job have you been having that you've been carrying a lot of heavy items. And I know a lot of people who has been serving that their hands get broken, their wrists or a hand, and they're unable to do that kind of job. So I've been serving for a while, and one of my wrists got broken as well. But it wasn't because of serving; it was an accident that I had while I was skating. So what might have happened to you is going to affect the quality of your life. If your body has been injured, if you have broken bones, in spirituality, though, I like to tell you when a bone in your body is broken is a breakage of structures. So in structures or beliefs that you previously have that are no longer needed are gonna be broken when one of your bones in your body breaks. So what happens when people get injured and they get a few bones broken? Well, that is definitely violence, but it is also the breakage of more than one structure that no longer serve you. As much as it is painful to be violent with someone and send a person to the hospital and maybe even survive it, sometimes our structures need to be broken because they no longer serve us. So what happens when the vibration of the planet is going up, is going up in vibration, is going up in awareness and spirituality and awakenings. And if we're not up to the speed, then we will be taken. So meaning we will pass away and come back and reincarnate into another baby who is gonna be dealing with the current situation but years later. So what is happening with the new generations that we have right now is these are the kids that used to be our grandpas. These are the ones that were forced to work at a young age, and much was demanded from them. So now they're taking time to take their time to work. You see them on drugs, you see them having a hard time being responsible, and you see them expecting the parents to do everything for them. So each generation advances the next one and the previous ones as well. So what happens is that depending on the generation that you incarnated, there is a purpose for you to incarnate in that generation. So when our past generations used to work in the land, and then we have a revolution which was industrial, then we had to move from working in the land to work in um, fabrics, right? Processing and making and creating items and inventions and stuff that was making our life easier, machines, all that production, tailoring, and all those industries that came along with the industrial era. So from working in the land, we had to go and work at all these places, and even women were required to go. So what happened when women had to go and work? is that all these box and meals came in the market, and that's where our health started to be had diminished, started to be affected by not having women cooking delicious meals and fresh meals that were rich in vitamins and minerals. And so a lot of what the families or kids or anyone that needed a good meal was replaced with bulks of meals that possibly contain a lot of sodium, so a lot of salt, a lot of sugar. And that's what has been affecting our bodies, our health, our quality of life, and how long we live. But how long we live, it's also affected by how happy we are, the habits that we have, and how much do we take care of ourselves, and what are we willing to do to get what we need. And simple as sleeping. How judging are you of your partner or a family member or someone that needs more sleep than you? Our bodies work at a different pace. And sometimes I do remember being younger on my teen years, and I remember having the need to sleep for long hours. It was just like I was super tired. I was always sleepy. And there is times in our life, when we need a lot of sleep. Also, women that have just give birth to a child, you don't get enough sleep. Babies wake up every 1.5 or 2 hours like it's an alarm clock, and they want to eat, especially if you are breastfeeding. You're not getting enough sleep. I remember waking up and being with my little ones, right here, and you're carrying them and you're like falling asleep. And it's tough. It's very tough for mothers who have newborns, and you don't get enough sleep for about 2 years. At least the first year is very hard when you are still breastfeeding or giving bottle, or you have to change diapers. And babies cry because they're uncomfortable, they are dirty, they need to be clean, or they want to rest, or you have to find a way to make them go to sleep. And that is giving them baths, or where they feel comfortable, and you have to buy this aromatic soaps and fragrances, and try to keep everybody quiet so the baby will go to sleep and you will go to sleep. Now that's just one baby. Imagine families that have more than one little one, or twins or triplets. It's double and triple the work. So how willing are you to help? It is a lot of work, and it can potentially make someone sick and depressed. The after birth blues that women have is because it takes a lot. It takes a toll on someone to bring a new life to earth, and to be able to take care for a little one, especially when you are a first time mother. You never been trained. Like, you have seen how your family treats little ones, and what do they tell them to do, and how they discipline the little ones, and uh, how they try to teach them and educate them. But when you have little one on your own, and you don't have help, and you necessarily probably don't know what to do, it's tough. It's tough to be first time mother or father, especially men. Sometimes they will tell the woman or the wife, the significant one, is your job. I have to work. I remember my ex-husband used to tell me when my older son was baby, he would say, well, you have to take care of him. I have to work. I remember one time my older son got really sick. The milk I was giving him, it wasn't properly mixed with the water. So the measurements were not the way the recipe was supposed to be. And because I was very tired, I didn't pay attention, so I put more milk than the water I was supposed to put. So he got sick and his belly hurt, and I didn't know what to do. And he was 3 days old, 3 day old baby, and he kept on crying. So I made some chamomile tea, and I kept on rubbing his belly, and it was very hard, and I thought he was gonna die. And I remember having him in my arms, and I went to the bedroom, and I told my husband, The baby's very sick, I'm afraid he's gonna die. I don't know what to do. And he said, well, you have to leave the room, like go to the living room because I have to work. So he kicked me out the bedroom, and I had to be up all night with the baby. And sometimes men are like that, and they kick you out and they want you to be responsible. I wasn't working at the time, of course. I was a new mother. How can you work like that? You need some time to recover, like the pain you go through, and overall the experience of everything. It's a lot of work. You're very tired, and it's normal for you to become depressed because your body changes. Now your figure is different. Your bones are in a different structure that you are not used to. They got curved because you had to carry that belly. So now going back to the way they used to be to support your body without the belly is painful. Everything is painful. Carrying the baby and giving birth, and then all these procedures that you need done, like getting your skin together, or maybe surgery, or maybe stitches, and all that is so painful. You don't even want to move, and then you have a crying baby that you can hear so often that it's hard for you to go to sleep when you are super tired. So many times in life we don't get enough rest, and that is potentially a reason why we age quicker, why we get these sicknesses, or our memory functions don't work properly. So what happens when we don't eat a nutritious meals, and we don't have enough sleep, is that we are unable to keep the information. You can read it. Let's say I grab a book and I go through the pages. It's 200 pages, and maybe by the time I got to the 10th page, that's all what my brain can retain. It's no more, because I don't have enough sleep, and so I don't have energy. I don't have the room for that memory to be stored. So even though I'm reading, yes, I'm reading, but I'm not holding that information. I'm not saving it for later when it's needed. And that potentially happens anytime we're learning. If you're taking a course online, those tend to be very tiring. And if you're unable to take naps, you're gonna, probably the first 3 days, you'll remember a lot of the content and a lot of the techniques. And if um, a week happens, you're gonna probably remember 20% of it, and eventually you're gonna forget. So I do recommend that if you attend any type of training, find a way to make notes. I like trainers that send you their PDFs after the presentation, and they give you the notes of their presentation so you can keep them and go through them, re-study, and just re-evaluate and remember what was said and what were the techniques that they were recommending for you to do. That is helpful. Give you afterwards materials, and take home PDFs or anything they could possibly give you. Their website with the password where you can download personalized content for your company, your event, your group, whatever it is. And most of the trainers do that. That is really good. So when you go to conferences and events, it's tiring. They're giving you so much information. So what are you doing that you are not getting enough sleep? Consider how you're feeling, and consider the importance of sleep in your life. So I like to leave you with the resolution: sleep enough. Don't be attached to the hours or the minutes. Even 10 minutes of a nap are helpful if you're gonna be up for a while. And but don't do it while you are on the road. I mean, if you're driving, if someone is driving, you could probably take a little nap, and but it's scary if you're sleeping and an accident happens and you have to wake up, and maybe you're not keeping the driver awake and focus, and maybe you're not helping on telling them something that they're not aware because they're tired as well. So contribute to each other's health, and give yourselves the opportunity to have a better quality of sleep. Your quality of life will appreciate it and will thank you for it, and you will live your life easier. the time where you need to leave is not gonna be that hard for you. It's gonna be simpler because you have taken care of yourself, or at least your life before that last event. It's not gonna be a stuff where you're gonna be so sad on your last day. Maybe you will be appreciative of the opportunities and the happiness you were able to live throughout your life. So take the time, go offline, get off of artificial intelligence and get off of your devices, and possibly take off the sound. If you don't have maybe someone that is calling you at night and could possibly be in danger. Like me, I have a 23-year-old. I have to keep my phone at least in vibrate in case anything happens to him. You're always worried that if they're out, they could possibly be drinking or driving, or just the energy that young people have, can tend to be aggressive. So if you have someone who is potentially drinking or out at night, you're gonna be worried. So you do need to have your phone on, but keep in mind all those distractions, especially right now. Platforms, social media is about anything that anyone posts is gonna be making a sound for you, and also emails coming so early in the morning. It's depriving our sleep. So what notifications can you remove, and which ones can you mute? How many emails and you can unsubscribe from that you no longer need, that you don't even open for months? And if anything, you will subscribe back if there is an event or something that interests you, then you can come back to it. But sleep enough. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful night.